When it comes to experiencing a true European summer, there's no better place than Greece. There are over 200 islands, and each one has its own unique personality. Whether you're looking for romance, Mamma Mia moments, crazy adventures, or a place that quite literally slows down time, Greece has it all. Not to mention, the locals were some of the kindest people we've come across that invited us into their homes, fed us delicious meals, and taught us the importance of the Mediterranean lifestyle. On top of all that, Greece has a 3,000-year-old history that changed the world forever.
Hey guys, we're Ian and Anna, and we spent around 30 days traveling Greece. It is one of our absolute favorite countries. We couldn't be more excited to share with you the perfect 10-day itinerary for Greece.
During this 10 days, you're gonna be visiting Santorini, Milos, Athens, and the island of Zakynthos. And a lot of people say to skip out on Athens, but I disagree because there is just so much history right here. Athens is the birthplace of democracy. It holds the first Olympic stadium. Philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle lived and taught here, and it's the oldest capital city in all of Europe. I also think it's a must because 1/3 of Greeks live right here in the city, so you're gonna get so much culture right when you arrive. So you're gonna wanna stay in these areas: Koukaki, Plaka, and Kolonaki. These neighborhoods are very pretty, and they're really close to all the major historical sites, so you could walk around. On the morning of day one, you're gonna wanna visit all of the historical sites and beat the crowds, so you could scan this QR code right here, and it has a combo ticket where it gives you entrance to each one of these sites. You're gonna be walking a lot today, so make sure to wear comfy shoes, and it probably is gonna be hot and sunny, so wear some sunscreen too. The first thing I think you should do is right at 8 a.m. go to the Acropolis because it gets packed very fast throughout the day. For those that don't know, the Acropolis is actually the hill, and this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And on top of that hill is the Parthenon, which is a temple dedicated to the goddess Athena.
Athens is actually named after Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war.
Right in the Acropolis, you could hang around here for 2 to 3 hours because you not only have the Parthenon and all the different temples on top, you also have the Acropolis Museum and the theater on the side of the hill, which you should definitely check out.
Next, you want to visit the ancient Agora. In ancient times, this is where citizens came to vote, worship, shop, gossip, and most importantly, it's where democracy was born. This is where they would listen to politicians, they voted.
I think we all know the famous philosopher Socrates. He spent a lot of time here in the Agora talking to strangers, talking to his friends about philosophy. And here's some of my favorite quotes from him. "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Second, the unexamined life is not worth living. And third is my favorite, strong minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and weak minds discuss people." And after the ancient Agora, you could walk over to Zeus's temple and the Panathenaic Stadium, which is 2,300 years old and the very first Olympic stadium.
It's also made entirely of marble, which is really impressive and goes to show if you use quality stuff, it'll last a long time.
Yes, this is also where they held the very first Olympic Games ever in 1896. So it's really cool to go on the track, walk around this area, and from here you could even get a great view of the Acropolis right above you. This could easily be a 5 to 6 hour day or even longer, so go back to your hotel after this and relax in the AC because it's probably gonna be quite hot, especially if you're visiting during summer where the temps can hit 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
And at night you can explore Plaka, which is one of the most beautiful neighborhoods in all of Athens. You can eat here if you want, or drive a little bit outside of Plaka and hit up one of these restaurants that have some amazing traditional Greek food that we highly recommend.
Now for day 2, the one thing I think you should do is do a food tour because like I said before, 1/3 of Greeks live right here in Athens. So you have the very best food, and on this food tour, you're gonna be seeing lots of great sights along the way.
This food tour is about 3 hours. We didn't get to go on it ourselves, but if you're interested, you can scan this QR code right here. And that's really all we have for you during the day. I think because day 1 was so jam-packed, if you don't get to all those things on day 1, you can spread them out to day 2, and if you did everything, just enjoy the city, maybe do some shopping.
Yes.
Get some olive oil for sure. And at night, you're gonna wanna go on this hill to see a beautiful view of the entire city, including Acropolis. I can't pronounce it. It's right here on the screen. I'm sorry, guys. It's also just a beautiful sunset spot.
And then if you're a partier, Anna and I didn't party at all, but if you are, you can go to Siri or Ghazi, and these are where all the nightclubs are. I've heard that locals during the summer leave the city and go to the islands just to beat the heat and the crowds. So it might not be as lively as you're expecting in European nightclubs. For day 3, you're gonna take a morning flight from Athens to Santorini. It's only around 45 minutes long. And the reason I recommend doing this instead of a ferry is because, first of all, it's less expensive than a ferry, which is quite surprising. And the ferry takes about 5 hours. So you're gonna get to Santorini much faster and you're gonna pay less. So that's an easy choice for you.
Also, the flight you'll most likely book might be the budget flight. I think they're around like $60.
Yeah.
Santorini is a small island. Ia is the main views you're looking at, which we recommend staying there. It is more expensive. We got engaged there. So it's like a really romantic place and it's definitely worth the splurge. We stayed at Kaleidoscope Cave Hotels and it was just the most magical few days of my life. We had a hot tub overlooking the caldera. So you can imagine sunrise, sunset, the nights. Honestly, you could go and never leave your room. Don't recommend that because the island is absolutely stunning. Actually, a lot of people recommend skipping Santorini, but I think it does depend on where you stay, and that's why we encourage you to just splurge a little and stay in Ia, because if you're gonna be walking around, you can do that in the morning if that's where you're staying, and there's not a lot of tourists. But if you're driving in every day, you're gonna be hitting up the tourists. So if you can't stay in Ia, the other option is to stay in Fira, which is Santorini's capital. This is a really fun area. It's very lively. You're still gonna be able to get some views of the water and the caldera, and it's a lot cheaper than staying in Ia. There's also Parisa Beach, and this is nice because you actually get a beach because there's none on Santorini but this one. So those are your other options if you don't want to stay in Ia.
There's a lot of locals there, and it's a black sand beach, which is super cool. The water's crystal clear, and this was a great spot. We kind of did half in Ia and then half in Parisa Beach and loved it. Now, if you took the morning flight from Athens, you're probably not going to get to your hotel in Santorini until noon, so you're going to have some time to drop off your bags because you won't be able to check in, and you should walk around Ia, and you should go to Pito Gyros, which are one of the best gyros I've ever had in my entire life.
They have a really amazing halloumi gyro. So if you're up for it, once you've checked into your hotel, we're gonna send you on a little adventure. It's one of our favorite things to do in Santorini. It's a 20-minute walk down these staircases and you go to a place called Amudi Bay, which is this beautiful bay of restaurants and seafood and views of the caldera. Once you hit the restaurants, you're gonna go around a corner. And this is like a little swimming area. It's really nice because not a ton of people know about it. And if they do know about it, not everyone's in the mood for an adventure. So you kind of have this little hidden gem spot. But the best part is you can swim across the water to St. Nicholas Church. And it is one of my favorite cliff jumping spots ever. It's like the perfect height. It's so much fun to jump off of. Totally a Mamma Mia moment. We've been to Santorini 2 separate times. Both times we've gone, so I know it's safe. Just make sure the waves aren't too choppy. If you're not a good swimmer, don't do it. And also climbing up on the cliff, the rocks can hurt your feet. So if you have sensitive feet, maybe pack some water shoes.
This is your dream European summer moment. You got Ia above you. The views of the caldera from here are unbelievable. And this is definitely a must do in Santorini. And then afterwards, you're gonna wanna get food at one of those seafood restaurants in Amudi Bay. They have the best seafood on the island. And then you could either walk back up or take a car ride back up. It's totally up to you. The walk back up does get tiring and the drive's only 5 minutes. You wanna pay that.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it, I would say. The first time we walked up, the second time we drove, and I was like, ooh, should have done this last time. There's also donkeys along the staircase down, but we just don't really recommend riding them. They look sad and hot.
I hate seeing the tourists on them and they're struggling. Now, Ia at night is really magical because all the tourists leave, and if you're staying at that hotel with the views, the moonlight's shining on the Aegean Sea, and this is one of the romantic things to do. Just take in the views, drink a little wine or champagne. Now moving on to day 4, if you have the energy, you want to get up for sunrise and walk around Ia because it's a ghost town and it's so special having it all to yourself. All those little alleyways, there's so many nooks and crannies to explore. And on this day, I want to give you 2 different options that you could choose from. First is a 5-hour catamaran tour that's going to take you around the island. You can go swimming. They give you amazing Greek traditional food and unlimited wine, which was just so delicious throughout the day. And second is a 4-hour wine tour around Santorini where you could try all sorts of wine. Santorini is actually known for their wine, so this is another option if you're into that. Anna, which one would you choose?
100% the catamaran tour. You're only in Greece once. You can go on wine tours anywhere. There's 2 things to keep in mind though. One, don't wear a white swimsuit because you'll be going into these hot springs that aren't hot. That's a whole nother thing. They're just not hot. Okay?
Bad marketing.
When they tell you they're hot springs, they're not. And then number 2, I think in general, people don't realize how windy Greek islands get. It's not just Santorini. Santorini, you're gonna experience high winds. On every island, obviously you could get lucky and not experience them, but islands are islands. Both times we've been on the catamaran tour, there were 20-mile-per-hour winds. We still had a blast. We were still able to swim. It's just something to keep in mind if you get seasick, maybe have Dramamine or something like that.
And if you want to go on the exact same catamaran tour that we did, you could scan this QR code on the screen right here. They were the #1 tour company on the entire island. And for those that don't know, I thought this was super interesting. Santorini was created by a volcanic eruption 3,600 years ago. It was one of the biggest in history, and that's exactly why it looks like it is today. And on this catamaran tour, you're able to pass by the new and old volcano that can still erupt in the future, which is kind of scary. I would go sooner rather than later.
But that's also something to keep in mind when you're there. It's not a very lush place. You're not gonna be seeing a ton of greenery and trees. Almost weird because it's a deserty island is the way I would put it.
Yeah, you're literally on a volcano.
Yeah.
Crazy. And at night, I recommend going to Fira to have dinner. This town has a gorgeous church and just amazing views altogether. I feel like the vibe here was more fun than Ia.
Yeah, I think Ia's more like romantic, slow, and then Fira had a lot of energy, and we actually were there during some sort of festival too. So
Yeah.
we probably have just more going on since it's the capital.
To get around Santorini, you can do the bus. It connects you to the entire island. It's super cheap, but I think the easiest way is Uber. It will be a little bit more expensive. I don't necessarily think you need to rent an ATV or a car. We ended up doing it because we spent a lot more time on Santorini. But for you, if you're staying in Ia, you could easily get Ubers.
Or just transportation from your hotel. You're not gonna be driving around too much.
Cutting in real quick because this video wouldn't have been possible without our sponsor, Get Your Guide. Get Your Guide is the #1 place to book unforgettable travel experiences with more than 110,000 things to do in over 150 countries around the world. During our time in Greece, we used the Get Your Guide app for everything. We booked that Santorini catamaran tour, the 5-site combo ticket in Athens, and even a private, no license boat in Zakynthos. Best part is you got everything in the app, like the meeting location and QR code. And personally, my favorite part about Get Your Guide is that you're able to cancel your tour up until 24 hours before it begins, and you get all your money back. The biggest way you could support Anna and I is by booking through those QR codes on the screen or the links down in the description below, and we get a little bit of a kickback so we can continue making travel videos just like this one. Now let's get back to the video. Woo!
On day 5, sadly, you'll be leaving Santorini and going to the island of Milos, which is one of our favorites.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
amazing. There's a few things to note. One, most of the ferries to Milos are in the afternoon around 3 p.m. So you do have a big chunk of your day still in Santorini. Make sure to have the Ferry Hopper app downloaded. Super easy. I would definitely recommend booking a few days ahead, especially if you already have everything planned out. Definitely make sure to have your ferry booked. It's about a 2-hour ride. Ferries in the Greek islands are different though. They're really, really nice. A lot of space to relax at, and there's indoor outdoor seating, so it's kind of enjoyable. I remember being like super shocked by it.
Yeah, and the whole time you get views. You're passing by islands.
I love when transportation is an experience.
When you get to Milos at night, you can head to the capital city of Plaka. This is a great place to get food, take in the sunset, and it really has whitewashed buildings and those Greek vibes you're really looking for.
Wait, I forgot to mention the Greek islands have a lot of cats. I honestly didn't grow up with cats, so I wasn't really into them, I guess. I didn't like cats.
We didn't.
But the Greek islands made me be like, oh, cats are kind of cool. They're everywhere. They're super sweet and they're just like nice. Now we have 3. That's a whole nother story.
And in Milos, the best areas to stay in are Polonia, Adamantas, and Plaka. Sorry if I'm saying those wrong, but these are definitely the best spots to get around. And I recommend having a car rental on this island because you're gonna wanna adventure and bop around a couple different spots. It's super easy.
Oh my gosh, you guys, if you want to rent a car in Greece, make sure to book ahead of time. Even though we're planning a trip for you, Ian and I, especially back then, we're not the biggest planners. We would just go with the flow, and we didn't realize that European summer is so crowded. And the problem is Americans only drive automatic cars, and a lot of us don't even know how to drive manual. But because Americans come and they book all the automatic cars, you're left with a manual car. We were lucky that we got a car for 2 days and then we took it back and then we got another car. So we were able to get the automatic, but it was way more expensive because we were getting like the nice Fiat convertible.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was great. Now, if you can drive manual, more power to you because it's like half price. So maybe even learn before you go.
Yeah, I need to learn. Now moving on to day 6. This day is gonna be full of cliff jumping and beach hopping all over the island. And the first place you're gonna wanna go to is a place place called Santorini Beach. This is like the moon and Greece had a baby. It's like this moon-like rock contrasting with the crystal blue water. One of the most unique places I've ever been. And of course, Anna and I love cliff jumping. We've said it before. This is such a great spot to do it at.
It's so much fun. You're gonna spend a lot of time here. Bring some drinks, bring like a sandwich, maybe get some food from the grocery store the night before, because the more prepared you are, the longer you can stay. One thing though, once again, just don't be disappointed if you go and you can't swim because it's too wavy. We were super lucky and like that didn't happen to us, but my girlfriend went literally like 3 days after.
Oh, it looked awful.
And the waves were crashing up against the side, so you obviously could not cliff jump. Hope that you can do it, but just don't be disappointed if it doesn't work out for you.
Yeah, there's a bunch of caves here you could explore. Just make sure to bring your SPF because there's nowhere to hide from the sun. There's not even a beach here. You were really sitting on the rock, so bring a blanket, maybe some alcohol. We brought some wine.
Oh yeah, we were in our drinking era, 24. Whatever we could find, we brought.
It was awesome. We got a little bit more confident the more buzzed we got.
Yeah.
We were jumping off the crazy heights. It was so fun. From here, you get really cool views of like yachts and boats off the coast. You could snorkel in the crystal clear water, and it's just a great start to your day.
I remember seeing the yachts. Like, is that Justin Bieber's yacht? So I think he was there the same summer.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber were up in Plaka eating. They were off the coast, jumping in the water just like you.
Then you'll drive around 20 minutes to Firi Plaka Beach. This is one of the most beautiful beaches on the island and has some of the clearest water we've ever seen. I think it's like in our top 3 of bluest water. The beach itself is very chill. There's like a cafe / bar. There's even seating if you want to lay out. So it's definitely like a post-up area.
Post up. Post up.
Of course, we found a rock in the middle of the water. Stop laughing.
Well, it's like, how do we keep finding rocks and jumping off?
When I thought of Greece before going, it was all about cliff jumping. You know, Mamma Mia, the girls jumping in the waters. We made that a priority on our trip, and you will too now. We also brought our snorkels out. We actually love traveling with our own snorkel set. We'll link it down below. It's such a move because 1, you don't have to worry about renting, and 2, just germs. It's your own set.
But nonetheless, this beach is one of a kind because you have those orange and red cliffs right above you and that water contrasting with it. It's a must visit. And right next door, which is super unique, is Sea Grotto Beach. You take ladders down to this beach. It's really tiny, but it has that similar crystal blue water right there.
Also, we got very lucky in Greece. We were waiting for the bus stop and a couple came and just picked us up and drove us where we needed to go instead. And later that night, they invited us to dinner at their house. We had a delicious Greek salad and rakia and the olive oil, everything so delicious. The locals there are extremely kind. So if you get a chance to interact with them, I highly recommend it because it was a highlight of our trip.
And Greeks on every single island, in Athens, everywhere, were so kind to us. We're so welcoming.
There are 2 kinds of people. They are the Greeks and the people who wish they were Greek.
This day is gonna wipe you out. You are gonna be so tired, so definitely get food near wherever you're staying, or if you have the energy, go back up to Plaka because you have amazing food and views from up there. But now you're done with day 6, and now let's talk about day 7. On this day, we highly recommend going on the best boat tour, not only in Milos, but it has been voted one of the best day trips in all of Greece, and that is to Kleftiko, which is only accessible by boat, and it is one of the most pristine coastlines on Milos.
Of course, when we went, it was too choppy to do it.
Yeah, and I'm really sad because I see how many people talk so highly of it, and I really want to go back to the island. But if you want to go on the highest rated tour, you could scan this QR code right here. And that's going to be a full day trip, so it's going to take up most of your day. You're going to eat, snorkel, swim. Just seeing this footage right here, it looks incredible. So definitely do that when you're on Milos.
So day 7 was a super quick one. We're going to head to day 8. That's going to be a decision-making one for you guys. We have this itinerary planned for you to go to Zakynthos, but you can also go to Naxos. So real quickly, a debriefing of the 2. Zakynthos is much further away. You're gonna need to take a flight there. It's also the Italian side of Greece. It's on the west side in the Ionian Sea. I really love this because we got to see a different side of Greece. The architecture was a bit different. It was so much fun in Zakynthos. I'm sure you've seen images of the shipwreck beach, and it was just as marvelous in person. Now, your other option is to head to Naxos. It's much closer to Milos, so you're not going to need to take that extra flight. It's got a little bit of everything while still having those Greek vibes. It's also a lot more affordable than the first 2 islands we mentioned. It's a great option, and it's not as touristy. People are now finding out about Naxos, and it's becoming more touristy. We have never gone. Our friend Amanda Brown, who we actually met on our Greece trip, she's my best friend now. We're going to show a reel of hers right here.
Yeah, if you're going to Naxos, that's only a 4-hour ferry ride away, but if you're going going to Zakynthos, like Anna said, it's a longer travel day. It will be a flight to Athens and then Athens to Zakynthos. They only have this option on some days, so you're gonna have to see if it's even possible to get over to Zakynthos. But if you can, it is 1000% worth it because I consider it one of the most adventurous islands in all of Greece. So that means day 8 is more of a travel day. So on this day, you'll get into Zakynthos, you'll check into your hotel, and also I would recommend a car for this island. Even though we ended up doing motorbikes, we were doing like 1 hour motorbikes away, and it's really rocky and it hurt our butts a lot.
But it was so fun.
Well, do either one of those, a motorbike or a car, and you're gonna be perfect for this island. And also, I'm gonna pull up this map of Zakynthos. These are the spots you should stay in, and then this spot you should avoid because it's so much partying. I guess it's wild there and not so safe because everyone's drunk.
Day 9 is going to be one of the best days of your life. Now, I don't know if it was like this because I was with my friend or if it's gonna be just as fun. I don't wanna overhype it. So you're gonna rent a boat for around $200, and if you are with a group of people, that's super affordable. You can also extend it. That $200 is gonna get you 3 hours on the boat. You don't have a captain, so it's your complete free will. You're just flying next to these beautiful limestone cliffs. The water is spectacular, and you just get to go to the beat of your own drum. We did end up extending ours, I think, to 7 hours because we were having that much fun. You explore caves. The owners do give you like a little route that you can take. You can go by that route. You don't have to. My girlfriend and I definitely got carried away and started jumping off the boat as it was driving. I know that seems so dangerous. Don't worry. The boat only goes 5 to 10 miles per hour, so it's like not the end of the world.
On this part of the island, you have some of the best secret beaches, and something to note, waves can come out of nowhere. Wind and waves will come, so be careful because this boat is not that big. It's a pretty tiny boat. And in this part of the island too, you can see turtles. So if you see a bunch of boats crowding around a certain area, they're most likely swimming with turtles. If you want to rent from the same exact tour company that we did, you could scan the QR code on the screen right here, and afterwards, about 10 minutes away from where you pull the boat in, there is a restaurant called Tazzie's, nicknamed after Tasmanian Devil, and they have some of the best gyros on the island. They're absolutely massive, and afterwards, you're probably gonna be dead tired from this day out in the boat, so go back to your place and relax.
On your final day on the island, day 10, you're just gonna be exploring Zakynthos by car or motorbike. Hit up some spots that you might have driven by and said, oh, I wanna check that out tomorrow. That's my favorite thing to do while traveling, is make sure to allot a few days to just explore. And I think that since it's not extremely touristy there, you really feel like it's all to yourself, and it's a special feeling.
And at night for sunset, you have to go to Shipwreck Beach. The viewpoint from above is stunning. So basically it'll be around an hour drive to Shipwreck Beach, and then right when you get there, walk to the right along the cliffs. Please be careful because some people have fallen from up here by focusing on taking selfies and pictures, but these cliffs are so high up, and the boat down there, it looks like something out of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. It is just a magical place to take in the sunset. And that is it for your 10-day itinerary in Greece. So we hope we helped you plan your trip a little bit better. And at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with any single island. Of course, if you spend more time in Greece, we have gone to a little bit more places like Ikaria. You can click this playlist right up here with all our videos. Ikaria is a special place because it's one of 5 blue zones in the world where people live over 100 and they live such a healthy lifestyle. We were actually very fortunate enough to interview a 98-year-old that was making his own wine. He was walking up stairs by himself, gardening, and it was a really inspirational viewpoint on life.
If you guys got any value out of this video, please make sure to like it and subscribe for more. Also, head to the comments section, see what people are talking about. It could help plan your trip. And of course, follow us on Instagram because we're super fun on there too.